Hello everybody, welcome back to the workshop. So in this video I hope to give you guys some helpful little tips of how to finish ironwork using paint and anything from whether you got some professional spray paint that you're using out of a spray gun or using the old rattle can method to finish your ironwork. Hopefully some of these tips will help you out. So without further ado, let's flip you around and get right into it. Okay, so I have just finished spray painting this French Baroque sign bracket. I don't know how well you guys can see it here in the camera. It's a pretty little sign bracket that I've been making for this BAM conference. And if you notice, I have something laying underneath it. And this is my very first tip to use when you are painting your work, is lay down some wax paper. The wax paper does not stick to the ironwork wherever it may be, especially after you've put on a coat. So this is my second coat on the ironwork here, and so the first coat was still just a tiny bit tacky, and if you were to lay that on something like just cardboard or a piece of paper, that paper or cardboard would stick and adhere to that paint as it cures, and then when you go to remove the metal, it'll peel up some paper with it, and then that becomes a pain in the butt to have to refinish that spot. So go ahead and use some wax paper when you can. It really will help you out and stop things from sticking to this and eliminate a lot of headaches. The next trick I'd like to point out is if you're using rattle cans, get yourself one of these wrist savers here. It's a simple thing. It makes you feel like you're a real professional and whatnot, you know, actually using one of these little, you know, paint depressor type deals. It's just got a little depressor in there. When you squeeze this trigger, out comes the spray. This is very handy, and it's a lot more ergonomic to hold your hands with this, just kind of like this little point and shoot thing versus having to hold your hand and wrist like this. It makes it a lot easier, so get yourself one of these. It really does make a big difference. Make sure you don't run out of wax paper. Get a couple rolls for every project. It doesn't hurt. The next thing I'd like to point out as a helpful hint, if you are working in a really cold environment, you may want to pick yourself up some painter's plastic. Now get this, you can get these on rolls of, well, really long rolls. This particular one is 9 foot wide by 400 foot long, or 3,600 square feet. So for you all over there, that's 344 square meters, if you will, if you're across the pond. Get some painter's plastic to put up. It's really handy if you have the space in your shop, some free space, and say it's cold out, you can hang this up. So I don't have any hung right now, but like in my shop, I've got some wood beams. You can nail that up and just nail it right on around yourself, and even put a little over the top of you, staple it up, and then pump a heater in it. Like this little, you know, torpedo heater here, from a distance, of course, a safe distance, but you can blow that into your little temporary plastic tent, and then that can keep that space warm for you, actually really extremely warm for you, in order for you to get your paint job done. Also, it helps keep all that paint off all of your valuable tools, electronics, or anything else you may have in your shop when you're painting. It's very handy. Also, keep a supply. This will be my last tip here for painting. Keep a supply of random scrap cardboard boxes on hand. As you can see, it really helps to lay those down and, you know, prevent overspray. Now this works in a small guy shop, whether you're indoors, outdoors, things like that. That'll really help out. And then lastly, but not least, a plastic table. Just a simple, cheap plastic table, folding table, and keep it as your, you know, temporary paint bench. It can collapse, fold right up, really compact, but this gets you off laying on the ground, you know, and when you're trying to work on your ironwork. I like the plastic table because it gives you a nice, you know, 6 foot width or so that you can then lay out multiple pieces and get them all sprayed at once, especially if you're doing like clear coating of, you know, smaller items. It's really handy. You can lay out a whole bunch and it's really productive that way. So there you go. those are just some quick tips. Keep in mind, I am not a professional painter. I am a professional blacksmith. But part of being a professional blacksmith, finishing is a part of that. It's a huge part of that. And I do all types of finishes here in this shop, not just paint. I know some guys like to knock painting like as if it's like this horrible thing for you to do to ironwork. And certainly you can be of that opinion, and that's fine. But in general, blacksmiths over the centuries have had to use all sorts of methods available to them to finish ironwork to prevent rusting, right? They didn't want it to rust. They wanted it to last for their clients. So this way they didn't have, you know, warranty work they had to do and go out and warranty their stuff because they decided they didn't want to coat something outside because it was prettier that way. So again, this is one of those function things. Beauty is obviously paramount, and about 90% of a job comes down to that last 10% of finish work, right? That really is about 90% of the job. We think the forging's 90, but really finish work is. That's what makes or breaks your ironwork, no matter how well you forged it. So anyways, again, not a professional painter. I'm sure there are some in the community though. If you are a professional painter, drop some of your helpful tips and tricks down in the comment section down below. That'll be really helpful to guys like myself and anybody else who's getting into this sort of thing. And if you love this video, hit that like button, subscribe, all that if you like to see more content from me. And if you want to support what we're doing here, you can join some of these fine channel members that you've seen rolling across your screen right now that make this content possible. I really couldn't do it without them. So thank you so much to every last one of my channel members. And God bless each and every last one of you, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.